Hello, I'm Professor Seong-Heui Kim from the Department of Nursing at Daejeon University. First of all, thank you for giving me the opportunity to present at this conference. The title of my paper is Cultural Coping Practices for Menopause Among Korean Middle-Aged Women, an Ethnographic Approach. From now on, let me present my article. The presentation order is as follows. Introduction. During menopause, women experience various physical, psychological, and social cultural changes, which significantly impact their health and quality of life. Therefore, how they cope with and manage this transition can be seen as determining their postmenopausal life. Recently, many issues have emerged in Korean society, such as depression, suicide, and increased divorce among women in the menopausal transition. This reflects the fact that menopausal women are not adequately coping with this life transition. More than 80% of Korean physicians recommend hormone therapy for menopausal women and do not recommend alternative medicine or non-pharmacological interventions. A survey on Koreans' perceptions of menopause reported a strong tendency to perceive the difficulties of menopause as resolving through hormone therapy. But hormone therapy is gradually decreasing worldwide as this trust increases due to the risk of breast cancer or cardiovascular disease, and other safe, complementary, and alternative therapies are preferred. The fact that both medical and non-medical professionals still perceive hormone replacement therapy as the only viable option for menopausal women can hinder the efforts of menopausal women to explore appropriate coping strategies and engage in various initiatives to improve their health. Perceptions of and coping with menopause vary across countries and cultures. This is influenced by a variety of factors, including social-cultural barriers, access to healthcare, family structure, and gender role perceptions. Therefore, effective coping and management for women experiencing menopause requires an integrated approach that encompasses not only physiological and psychological factors, but also social, cultural, and medical context. In order to support women facing life crises and transitions through menopause to effectively cope with various changes, it is necessary to understand and grasp their experiences as a whole. Culture significantly influences health behaviors throughout life. Therefore, to deeply understand the menopausal coping experiences of Korean married women, it is crucial to focus on the cultural context of the society they belong to and to identify the cultural patterns of experiences they share in their daily lives. Therefore, this study aimed to explore cultural patterns of coping strategies shared by married women experiencing menopause with the cultural context of Korean society and analyze their meaning using ethnographic research methods. The main research question is, what are the coping experiences of Korean middle-aged women during menopause? Second, research method. Research participant. The participants were women who visited the Department of Gynecology at G Hospital in Seoul and the Department of Obstetric and Gynecology at the Women's Hospital in Gyeonggi Province. This researcher believed that married women's experiences of menopause may differ from those of unmarried women, as well as those of women who underwent induced menopause due to hysterectomy, oophorectomy, or breast cancer treatment. Therefore, unmarried women and women with prematurely induced menopause were excluded. A total of 13 informants reached saturation level. The data collection and analysis for this study followed spread list ethnographic research method. Data collection was terminated and no new data emerged, and saturation was reached through field research techniques such as participant observation and informal in-depth interviews. Open-ended informal interviews were conducted using descriptive, structured, and contrastive questions. Data analysis was conducted using spread-list ethnographic analysis method. In order to ensure the validity and truthworthiness of the study, the evaluation criteria proposed by Lincoln and Cooper, credibility, transferability, dependability, and conformability, were applied. Ethical consideration. The researcher explained the purpose of the study, the research procedure, including interview, recordings, and participant observation. Potential problems arising from participation, confidentiality of interview content and data, and the participants voluntarily withdrawing or refusing to participate. The research obtained written informed consent from each participant after providing a full explanation of the study and ensuring that they fully understood its contents. Third, research. The analysis of cultural patterns and feelings regarding the coping mechanism of middle-aged women experiencing menopause revealed the cultural theme of reconstructing life with a focus on health. Meaning structure of Korean middle-aged women coping with menopause are presented in Table 1. This results in 3 categories and 12 attributes. The following attributes were identified for each category. Actively engaging in health-promoting behaviors. Accepting menopause as a province of nature. Buried menopause remain in pain. Table meaning structure of Korean middle-aged woman coping with menopause. Cultural theme, 3 categories, 12 properties. The category of actively engaging in health-promoting behaviors include the following attributes: relying on modern health care, pursuing good food, dedicating myself to exercise, and relying on complementary and alternative therapies. The property of relying on modern health care is one of the most coping mechanisms among married women experiencing menopause. Many of these women relied on modern medical treatment, including pharmacological treatment such as female hormone, sleeping pill, hyperlipidemia medications, osteoporosis medications, and joint injections. Surgical procedures such as incontinence surgery or joint surgery, physical therapy and psychological treatment such as depression treatment and psychiatric counseling. The property of pursuing good food represents its effort to alleviate and prevent the worsening of physical symptoms such as hyperlipidemia, osteoporosis, abdominal obesity, insomnia, and hypoglycemia through diet. The property of dedicating myself to exercise encompasses the lifestyle changes that participants made to overcome the physical changes and mental challenges associated with the menopause transition. The primary forms of exercise that participants in this study began after menopause included Pilates, swimming, water aerobics, yoga, walking, trekking, and golf. The property of relying on complementary and alternative therapies demonstrated that they rely on various alternative therapies and dietary supplements to overcome the menopausal transition. Alternative therapies used by subjects included herbal medicine, acupuncture, and oxybution, massage, meridian therapy, tuna therapy, sauna therapy, auricular therapy, and aromatherapy. The category of accepting menopause as a providence of nature included the following attributes: accepting aging, having a positive mindset, careful and protective living patterns, and enjoying leisure activities. This demonstrates that participants do not perceive the menopausal symptoms they experience as a disease, and rather as a natural cycle and process of life, and attempt to positively cope with the changes of menopause. The property of accepting age represents the process by which subjects accept changes in their body and mind by recognizing menopause as a natural age phenomenon rather than a deficiency. The property of having a positive mindset shows that subjects experience various emotions due to menopause, but instead emphasize positive changes rather than negative aspects, and exert a coping mechanism to control their own minds. The property of careful and protective living patterns demonstrate the positive changes that the subject experiences as they adjusted their existing lifestyle patterns to better navigate the menopause they faced. Middle-aged women began to manage stress by being mindful of their daily activities and promoting natural healing to prevent potential problems. The property of enjoying leisure activities shows that women who have accepted menopause as a natural life change activity participate in leisure activity to promote their physical and emotional recovery and improve the quality of life. The category of buried menopause remaining pain identified the attribute of unrecognized menopause, hiding and ignoring menopause, living with the after effect of disease, and reading on surrounding resources. This reveals the negative experience of those who experience the menopause transition inappropriately or passively due to various reasons such as financial hardship, family issues, and cultural factors resulting in health problems. The property of unrecognized menopause represents the experiences of married women going through the menopause transition who focus on the practical problems that arise in their lives and fail to recognize menopause and neglect health management. The property of hiding and ignoring menopause reveals the experiences of middle-aged women who, while aware of the changes brought on by menopause, inappropriately cope by hiding and ignoring them. Specifically, the subjects perceived menopause as a stigma and felt they had to hide it, and they felt ashamed of their physical and psychological changes. The property of living with the after effects of disease encompasses the situation in which middle-aged women live their entire lives with the unhealthy after effect of menopause due to their failure to adequately address the actual and potential problems that arise, and the subject's feelings of regret and remorse about this. The property of leaning on surrounding resources shows the life patterns of middle-aged women relying on and coping with people around them due to physical pain, emotional anxiety, and functional decline during menopause. Fourth, discussion and conclusion. This study conducted an in-depth exploration of the coping experiences of middle-aged women undergoing menopause with the socio-cultural context of South Korea using an ethnographic research approach. The findings reveal that women's strategy for coping with menopause go beyond a uniform, medically centered approaches and instead represent cultural practice aimed at organizing their lives in pursuit of holistic health. These coping behaviors are shaped by a complex interplay of factors, including biological attributes, social-cultural status, perception of traditional womanhood, economic resources, family structures, and characteristics of the healthcare system. This study underscored the need to move beyond the pathologized, disease-oriented view of menopause and advocates for an integrative approach that enables women to understand and accept menopause within the context of their own lives. Based on the result of this study, the following suggestions are proposed. First, since coping with menopause involves an intricate mix of biological, emotional, and cultural factors, an integrated health management program is needed. And that organically connect to dietary intervention, physical exercise, complementary and alternative therapies, and conventional medicine. Second, given that women's approaches to coping vary depend on their family medical history, cultural value, and economic condition, health promotion programs related to menopause must be designed not as one-size-fits-all interventions, but rather with personalized strategies that reflect cultural sensitivity. Third, menopause should be recognized as the starting point of new self-care, not disconnection. And for this, it is urgent to develop the prevention-oriented program, including emotional preparation and information provision. With this, I'll finish my presentation. If you have any question, please email me at this address. Thank you for your attention.